Hello, welcome to this video on how to best prepare for the IELTS exam. My name is Sunita Kadian. So when we think of preparing for the IELTS exam, the first thing that we need to understand is what this IELTS is all about. What is tested in this exam? So let's understand what IELTS is and why you should take the IELTS exam. So what is IELTS? It is the International English Language Testing System. It's one of the major English tests in the world. So if you have to go to an English-speaking country to work there or to settle down over there or to pursue your higher studies, you need to take the IELTS exam. Now let's understand what is tested in the IELTS exam. So remember, it's the International English Language Testing System. So obviously, your skills of English are tested. You're evaluated in 4 skills. So your level of English is tested in 4 skills of the language: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Now, when it comes to the IELTS exam, there are 2 versions of it: the IELTS Academic and the IELTS General Training. You take the IELTS Academic if you wish to pursue higher studies in an English-speaking country, and you take the IELTS General Training if you want to get the work visa or you want to settle down. Now, both these tests can be either pen and paper tests or computer-based. So you have to decide which one you would like to take, whether you would prefer a pen and paper-based test or a computer-delivered test. Now, the next thing that you need to understand is how you are scored in the IELTS exam, how you get your marks in the different tests: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, what the score is, and what parameters are tested in each. Now, if you get a score of 9, that means you are an excellent user of the language. So you get a separate band score in each of the tests, and then the overall band score is calculated. So according to the level of your English in a particular skill, you can get 9, 8.5, 8, 7.57, 6.5, and so on. So first you need to find out what band score is needed and then accordingly work for it. Then be very clear about it, which one you require, whether you should take the IELTS Academic or the IELTS General Training tests. I've seen many students are quite confused about it even after they start their preparation. They are unable to decide which one would be better for them, in which one they would be able to get a higher band score. So decide according to the requirement. What is it that you need? You have to understand this. For what purpose are you planning to go to that particular country? And what is the band score needed? And then start your preparation. Now, when we compare IELTS Academic with the IELTS General Training, how will you decide which one is right for you? Remember, take the IELTS Academic if you wish to pursue undergraduate level in an English-speaking country, or you want to go abroad for higher studies or postgraduate level, or you want to join a professional organization. You should start preparing for the IELTS General Training if you wish to emigrate to an English-speaking country, or you want to get the work visa to work there, or you want to get trained or study at a below degree level. So whatever the requirement is, accordingly you decide which one you have to take and move ahead with your preparation. Now, the next question that may come to your mind is how much time you require to prepare for this exam. Well, it depends upon the level of your English. Get it evaluated by somebody. Get a diagnostic test done. Because if your grammar is weak, you will obviously take a little more time. If your vocabulary is not all that good, if you do not have much fluency in your speech, you'll need a little more time. So if you get the level of your English evaluated, you'll start working on it. Improve your grammar. Enhance your vocabulary. So some students may take just 4 weeks to prepare for this. Others may require 6 months to prepare for this. It's going to depend upon the level of your English. So get it evaluated by somebody. And the next question that may arise is, what is there in the IELTS exam? If there are going to be 4 tests in it, then what kind of questions you're going to get? Like, what do the questions contain? So let's understand that first before we move ahead with the preparation. So how much time do you need to prepare for this exam? Well, it depends upon the level of your English. Get it evaluated by somebody. And it also depends upon the band score you're targeting. Maybe you need just band score 6 or you require band score 8. Accordingly, you'll have to put in effort. So let's understand the pattern of each test. What does the question paper of each of the IELTS tests contain? So when it comes to listening, the listening test lasts for 30 minutes. So out of all the 4 tests, listening, reading, writing are taken together. The speaking may be on the same day or 1 or 2 days prior to the other 3, or 1 or 2 days after the other 3. So when you start your exam, first of all, the listening test starts. It lasts for 30 minutes. Those students who are planning to take the pen and paper test get additional 10 minutes for transferring the answers to the answer sheet. If you plan to take the computer delivered test, then you'll get only 2 minutes to review the answers. There are 4 parts in the listening test, and there are questions based on recorded monologues and conversations. So questions of part 1 and 3 are based on conversations, and questions of part 2 and 4 are based on monologues. In each part, there are 10 questions, and overall, you have to answer 40 questions. The questions of part 1 and 2, or the recording of part 1 and 2, is based on the social setup. It's related to social context, and the recordings of part 3 and 4 are related to the academic. So each question carries 1 mark. Attempt all the questions. Remember, there is no negative marking. Now, the speaking test is a face-to-face interaction with the examiner. It lasts for 11 to 14 minutes. Only you and the examiner are there. It includes short questions, speaking at length about a familiar topic, and a structured discussion. Now, before your test starts, the examiner will ask you your name, how the examiner can address you, the place you are from, and will also ask you to show your identification. That's your passport. So you must carry your passport with you. So this test has 3 parts in it. Part 1 has short questions related to you. Part 2 is a cue-based question for which you get a minute to prepare your answer before speaking for 1 to 2 minutes on it. Now remember, the examiner may not stop you for 2 minutes. So you should be able to speak at length for that much of time. And don't get worried if the examiner stops you in between. Then there's a follow-up question. And after that, the part 3 begins. And in part 3, general questions based on the question in part 2 are asked. You should use a range of vocabulary. So start working on your vocabulary, work on fluency, your pronunciation. The reading test lasts for 60 minutes. It has 40 questions in all. Each question carries 1 mark. And there's no negative marking, so you should not leave any question. But both the versions get different types of texts. In the academic reading, there are 3 sections. Each section has 1 long reading passage. And the text ranges from descriptive to factual to discursive and analytical. You may also get questions where you may be asked to complete some diagrams or graphs. So the passages are long, 800 to 900 words. the vocabulary that is used is academic. In the general reading test also, there are 3 sections. Section 1 may have 2 or 3 or maybe more short factual texts. And section 2 has 2 short work-related texts. Section 3 has a longer one, which is of general interest. Can be taken from any magazine or even a novel or a company handbook or even from a newspaper. So what should you all start doing? If you are planning to take the IELTS exam in the near future, start reading. Get into the habit of reading. Read newspapers, read novels. Just keep a novel with you. Read it every day. Read journals, read articles in magazines. Now, the writing test is the most dreaded one because most of the students are able to take care of their listening and reading, but they face a lot of problem with the writing, because when it comes to the writing test of the IELTS exam, you have to understand how you have to structure your answer, and you have to write the given number of words, like you're given the lower limit over there, so you must write at least that many words for each task that you have to attempt in the given time, because the writing test lasts for 60 minutes. There are 2 tasks in it. Task 2 is similar in both the academic and the general training tests. It is essay writing, and you have to write at least 250 words. The academic writing task 1 is different from the general training writing task 1. In the academic writing task 1, you have to summarize the information given in a table, graph, chart, or diagram in at least 150 words. You should not write less than 150 words. Otherwise, you are penalized for it. And in the general training writing task 1, you get a letter. The letter can be formal, informal, or semi-formal. And again, you have to write at least 150 words in it. So understand how these tasks are to be attempted. Even in essay writing, there are 5 different types of essays that you have to write. So understand how you should structure the essay for each, because some may have 2 body paragraphs, the others may have 3 body paragraphs. And of course, all are going to have the introductory and the concluding paragraphs. So how to write the introductory paragraph for each type of essay. So before taking the exam, you must learn about the different types of questions that you can get in each of the tests. Because if you're not familiar with the way you need to answer those questions, you may lose your points. You may even waste a lot of time during the exam. For instance, in the listening test, there are different types of questions. You can expect around 10 types of questions. They can be multiple choice questions. Then they can be the summary completion questions, list selection questions, sentence completion questions. So there are different types of questions. Questions based on the maps are also there. In the reading test, again, there are about 14 types of questions you need to prepare for. Of course, all are not asked in one exam, but you should be familiar with all the types, how true and false and not given are to be answered, how the multiple choice questions are to be answered, what's the strategy for paragraph information matching questions, how you should attempt the table completion questions or the notes completion questions. In the speaking test too, you have to understand the strategy for answering the part 1, the part 2, and the part 3 questions, like how you should paraphrase the questions. Include reasons when you answer a question. Don't just answer in yes or no, or don't just mention if somebody asks you, like, which is your favorite place? So don't start your answer this way, that my favorite place is. Paraphrase the question. I'm fond of, I love to go to this place. Now, why are you fond of that? So you must include the reasons too. Then the writing test, as I shared with you some time back, that there are 2 tasks. So task 1 and task 2, you must practice, understand how each type of answer is to be structured, how you have to structure an informal letter, a formal letter, or a semi-formal letter in task 1 of the general training, or how you have to answer the different visual inputs given in the writing task 1 of the academic test. And in the essay writing, of course, you need to understand the different types of instructions that you get. So are you ready for the IELTS exam? So what do you do when you're ready for the IELTS exam? And how will you come to know that you're ready for the IELTS exam? Some evaluation is needed. So how to test that? Well, there are books for it. And of course, the most trusted one is the IELTS Cambridge test book. So the Cambridge English IELTS book comes with 4 tests. So there are 4 mock tests with answers given in it. You have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Attempt the mock tests given in these. Attempt the tests. Do these practice tests. You'll be able to check your listening and reading answers, correct them, but get your writing answers evaluated by somebody. And if you're not confident about your speaking, then you need practice for that too. And according to the score that you get in your practice tests, develop the strategy for different types of questions. Take the mock tests. Understand how each type of question is to be answered. So when you take these practice tests, each has to be analyzed. Take somebody's help. Analyze each test. Understand why you made a mistake, how that can be rectified, how you can improve in the next test. So don't just continue taking the practice test. Each has to be analyzed. You have to understand the strategy for different types of questions. Practice all, understand how to generate content for your writing and speaking tests before you move on to the next practice test. So each has to be analyzed, practice has to be done, and then you move on to the next practice test. And of course, if you feel that your vocabulary is not all that good, enhance your vocabulary. The next thing then you need to do is to check the availability of the exam date, because there are different dates according to the dates that may suit you, or whichever date is available. You have to select which time, morning, afternoon, evening. At what time are you more productive? Can you attempt your exam better in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening? Take the slot accordingly. And also be careful in selecting which one you plan to take. I have seen students making this kind of mistakes also. They plan to take the general training test, and by mistake, they check the other one, the academic. And when they reach the examination center, then they come to know, oh, they were supposed to take the other one. So be very careful when you fill in all the details. And of course, check, is your passport ready? For practice and for personalized coaching, you can always come to Yuno Learning. We have different courses and the classes are at affordable price. So you can go for the comprehensive course, or just for writing and speaking, just for speaking, or only for writing, according to what you require. So log on to www.yunolearning.com. So all the best for your preparation. Thank you for watching this video.